Bitter criticism. Reading Russia Today has been a very long time. Let's see what happened in the land of Vladimir Putin. Russia Today. I will try this news. I don't even know how to say breaking news. Can you see? I don't know how that works. I will try the second. Well, this is actual from March 2nd, 2025. Home World News. WS official suggests Zelensky may need to go. WS official. Zelensky I will read this. Russia Today will say that Zelensky was not elected to this storm. There's no arguments why it's getting so long. That's the question. You will see. WS official suggests Zelensky may need to go. National Security Advisor Mike Waltz says Washington wants to see a leader in Kiev who can, quote, deal with the Russians and end this war, end quote. And there's the photograph. U.S. National Security Advisor Mike Waltz. A Republican. Washington is unsure whether Vladimir Zelensky is the right man to lead Ukraine at this juncture. The U.S. National Security Advisor Mike Waltz has told CNN. The official argued that Friday's tumultuous spat between the Ukrainian leader, President Donald Trump, and Vice President J.D. Vance indicated that Zelensky may not be ready to talk peace. When asked by Dana Bash on Sunday to share his view on Zelensky, Waltz said that, quote, it's unclear whether President Zelensky, particularly after what we saw on Friday, is ready to transition Ukraine to an end to this war and to negotiate and have to compromise, end quote. He noted that it is President Trump's conviction that both Kiev and Moscow will have to make concessions in order to stop the bloodshed. According to the National Security Advisor during the U.S. President's meeting with Zelensky on Friday, quote, it did not appear to us that he was ready to go to peace, end quote. Definitely, Zelensky, my opinion, he's an actor from Democrats, the deep state, Missy Matt. So maybe Zelensky believes that, but he definitely is backed by Missy Matt. According to the National Security Advisor during the U.S. President's meeting with Zelensky on Friday, quote,
Atención, para abrir la puerta del tren, presione el botón cuando se ilumine.
I just read that. When pressed by a CNN presenter as to whether the White House wanted Zelensky to step down, Waltz clarified that, quote, we need a leader that can deal with us, eventually deal with the Russians, and end this war, end quote. The official added that, quote, if it becomes apparent that President Zelensky's either personal motivations or political motivations are divergent from ending the fighting in his country, then I think we have a real issue on our hands, end quote. In an interview with Breitbart Radio on Saturday, Waltz compared Zelensky to an, quote, ex-girlfriend that wants to argue everything that you said 9 years ago, rather than moving the relationship forward, end quote. Speaking with ABC News on Sunday, U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio said that he had not, quote, had any contact with Zelensky since Friday, end quote. Diplomats stress that the Trump administration goals is to bring Ukraine and Russia to the negotiating table, with the U.S. head of state being the only person on earth who has any chance whatsoever of accomplishing this. Quote, don't do anything to disrupt that. And that's what Zelensky did. Unfortunately, he found every opportunity to try to Ukraine's plane on every issue. Quote, end quote, Rubio stated, recounting Friday's shouting match at the White House. And there's a funny one, and Zelensky looks unwell, Kremlin, March 2nd. Spokesman Dmitry Peskov has commented on the Ukrainian leader's health prior to his White House dispute with Trump and Vance. And there's a photo of Vladimir Zelensky, or Ukrainian leader Volodymyr Zelensky appears visibly unwell, Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov has said. He made the remarks this week, days before Zelensky's heated confrontation with U.S. President Donald Trump and Vice President J.D. Vance. Quote, he doesn't look very good visually. He doesn't look very good visually, but you should ask him, Peskov said in an interview with Rossiya 1 TV journalist Pavel Zarubin, published on Saturday, answering whether he thought Zelensky left cornered. Zelensky felt cornered. Zelensky's visit to the White House on Friday intended to finalize a minerals agreement devolved into a heated dispute. The discussion deteriorated when he insisted that Trump support Kiev rather than play a neutral arbiter in an attempt to mediate a deal with Moscow. In response, Trump and Vance accused Zelensky of, quote, gambling with World War III and a reluctance to make peace with Russia, labeling him disrespectful and ungrateful for the substantial military aid provided by Washington. The visit concluded abruptly without signing the agreement, after Zelensky demanded security guarantees and greater involvement in the conflict from the Trump administration. You know what really happens that
Por tu seguridad y la de todos los pasajeros, no te sientes en el suelo.
what I knew is then they negotiate this, and then Trump asked for money for Trump asked Zelensky all the money back, but then Zelensky says no because it was a gift, a support by Biden and Democrats, and then Trump agreed with that. So Democrats have a lot of power over Trump. Misimat has power over Trump. Understand that would happen. Misimat controls Trump, or something like that. The visit concluded abruptly without signing the agreement after Zelensky demanded security guarantees and greater involvement in the conflict from Trump administration. During the meeting, Zelensky's preference for informal attire also attracted media attention when a journalist inquired if the Ukrainian president owned a formal suit. Zelensky said yes, adding that he will wear something more appropriate at the next meeting. Following the incident, Russian Foreign Ministry spokesman Maria Zakharova described Zelensky's U.S. trip as quote, a diplomatic and political failure for Kiev. She asserted that with his, quote, outrageously boorish behavior, boorish behavior at the White House. Zelensky confirmed himself an irresponsible instigator of a major war and, quote, a most dangerous threat to the international community. Zakharova reiterated Moscow's stance
Atención, para abrir la puerta del tren.
that lasting peace can only be achieved, quote, when the root causes of the conflict are fully eliminated, unquote. The cancellation of the minerals deal and Zelensky's premature departure from the White House have raised concerns about future U.S. support for Ukraine. According to the Washington Post, the Trump administration may reconsider its military assistance to Kiev. However, European leaders have expressed support. German Chancellor Olaf Scholz and EU Foreign Policy Chief Kaja Kallas reaffirmed their solidarity with Ukraine, emphasizing the need for peace based on Ukraine's sovereignty. Conversely, Russian officials, including former President Dmitry Medvedev, mocked Zelensky, suggesting that Washington held military aid.
Estación Portales.
Well, I'm going to read another.
Qué lindo película.
Aquí después de aviso, para que empiecen a calentar el aceite.
So, March 2nd, Kiev politicians salute Zelensky's White House blunder. World news. Ukrainian reactions run contrary to those of U.S. officials, as Secretary of State Rubio has described Zelensky's trip as a fiasco. And there's a photograph there. U.S. President Donald Trump and Vice President J.D. Vance meet with Ukrainian leader Vladimir Zelensky in the Oval Office, and they are fighting. They are arguing. Politicians in Kiev have rallied behind Vladimir Zelensky after his public spat with Donald Trump, praising the Ukrainian leader's bravery and strength in standing up to the U.S. president.
El bloqueo de puertas puede provocar retraso. Respeta la alarma de cierre y colabora con un mejor viaje para todos.
The Democrats are supporting the actor Zelensky. Zelensky's visit to the White House on Friday. Hey. ¿Qué pasó? Cállate.